Can we not immediately jump into your Mega L takes? A Mega L. I feel like the golden age for me when it comes to VTubers has kind of died off a bit, and now my tastes are starting to like. I've become more picky. I've become a lot more picky with VTubers, and honestly, I feel like the future that I want to see with VTubers, like the content I want to consume more of, is more high quality like video content. You know, I feel like there's an oversaturation of regular streamers, and there's plenty of really great ones. Somebody else is gonna build. We've hit, I think, like we've hit kind of a wall, in my opinion, with VTubing in its current state, you know? The more, like, the inevitable reality, this is my doomer take. The inevitable reality is that VTubers are rapidly becoming more and more mainstream. And the more and more mainstream that VTubers become, the more VTubers are going to need to adapt, because creating content that appeals to people who already have knowledge of VTubers isn't gonna cut it anymore, because the new audience is going to come in. It's kind of like I think the VTuber, like the VTuber culture right now is coming off the end of like 2011 YouTube. You know, when like Let's Play stuff massively popped off, and you had like all these big creators like who exploded overnight, like PewDiePie and Markiplier, and they were all playing like horror games. Oh my god, this music is annoying. They were all playing the same games, and they were all popping off for like the same things, and everybody's content was a little bit unrefined, and like it was great, but content is like still good now, but it's just like very different. It's like that's when all that stuff started to pop off, you know, like PewDiePie playing like Amnesia and stuff, and Markiplier playing his like Oculus Rift games. Like the phase after that was like the normies really flooding it, you know? It's like all that content felt like it exploded, but what would come after it was like the real dawn of YouTube becoming mainstream. And that's when we started to see more content oriented not just at people who already played video games, who already liked video games, who already watched YouTube. We started to see content that was targeted more at like a general audience, and we started to see YouTubers taking more sponsorships. Stuff like Mio came onto the scene, which is one of like the original YouTube sponsorships that got spammed at the beginning of every fucking video. I think VTuber is like, at least in the West, is like between those two spaces right now. So between those two phases. Oh, Phase Warehouse worklist is now empty. I remember when it was seen as really cool that somebody got a sponsor, because that wasn't a thing that happened. You know, people didn't get sponsors back in the day. Sponsors weren't interested in YouTube. And that's how YouTube ended up being like a lot more niche at times, because it wasn't pandering to sponsors. All entertainment has been ruined by business and over monetization. I disagree. I think there is definitely parts of entertainment that have been ruined by business and over monetization. But I also think there are things that just could not exist without business and over monetization. Like, I feel like if idol culture wasn't a thing, we wouldn't have ended up with like HoloLive. I don't know. My personal prediction is that if VTubing is following the path of like Let's Play YouTube content, then I think what's coming up next is more mainstreamification and the evolution of more refined content. I think it's gonna be a lot more. You're gonna see a lot more VTubers doing like shorter, snappier content. Unwatchable slop. I think you're cooked. I think that's done. 10-minute vids, yeah. Stuff like 10-minute videos. Less streaming. Streaming is always going to be a big thing, but I think like the big content that pops off is going to be like the shorter content, like 10-minute video type things. If it turns into TikTok duration, I'm a dip. I mean, TikTok duration is how long videos used to be. Oh, where should we build that? Build like right over here. Under 10 minutes, yeah. A lot of you guys probably weren't around for it, but YouTube videos used to have to be shorter than 15 minutes. That's why back in the day, or I think it was 15 or 10 minutes, I don't remember. But back in the day, that kind of content, like you had that 10 minutes. You had a 10-minute maximum upload limit on your YouTube videos, which is the same thing with TikTok. TikTok, I think, is 10 minutes maximum. And I don't think it leads to slop. I think people will inevitably make slop, because there's always going to be people making slop. But I also think people, I think I think we'll see more creative, more refined content. Here, thank you. The analogous nature of a lot of VTuber corpos and old YouTube MCNs. Like, machinima is also very real. We never truly left 2012 after all. Oh yeah, I shouldn't say this while I'm in a company, but I don't think VTuber companies are really gonna last into like the next 5 years. Yeah, that's my really doomer take. Is I think there'll be like I think there'll be maybe like 2 or 3 VTuber companies that like get a pass, you know, and they're not all sorts of like fucked up and fallen apart. But I do generally think that it's just like old YouTuber companies, you know, like Machinima and oh god, I forget all their names now. Simple or I don't remember what it's called. They're all these like old YouTuber companies, and they would manage people's channels for them, and they would get Rooster Teeth, Simplejack, Maker. Yeah, Maker. Oh my god, Maker fucking fucked over so many people. I think it's gonna be that again. Right now, if you really want to pop off as a VTuber, if you can make it into an agency, that's like a massive jumping off point. Right? It's a massive jumping off point, right? This is like you can think with like Machinima back in the day, you know, getting your video on Machinima's channel. That used to be a pretty big deal. That would get a lot of eyes on it that it wouldn't have otherwise had. It got to a point where it's like it wasn't really doing anything for the channels. If anything, it was more of a detriment. And I think it's just like the natural evolution of YouTube channels, you know, I think that's a natural evolution of the relationship between content creators and creator networks. It just started to become a siphon after a while, yeah. Getting into a VTuber agency early on into your career is a huge start. Not as much anymore. I really don't think it is as much anymore, you know? Like, you look at some of these companies, right? And if you debuted into them back in the day, it'd be like an instant, like 1,000 viewers watching your content, right? And nowadays, it's like there's so many corpo debuts. You might get that, but like the retention from it is just not, it's just not there. In my gaming video, I'm a little behind, but are you saying you want to return to Kizuna Eye? I think Kizuna Eye is the future, but like old Kizuna Eye, ironically. I think the future of VTubing is like 10 to 30 minute long content that is more refined, more edited down, less live streaming, no live streaming. I don't think it's gonna be like, oh, live streaming is dead. I think live streaming is inevitable. It's always gonna be a big thing. But I think what will be bigger is more refined down content. Indie VTubers who don't have to conform to the more restrictive nature of corporations. We're gonna get the moist critical of VTubing. I'm sure that already exists. Escar, thank you. Pip AI win. What about concerts? Can I be honest? I don't think concerts are gonna be like a super big thing in VTubing. I don't think anyways. Outside of like the established idol scene people, I think like there's always going to be an overlap between VTubers and idol culture, but less and less as time goes on, you know? I think VTubers are going to move away, in the West anyways. I think VTubers are going to move away from being like Hatsune Miku and move more into being like these regular big creators. Yeah, in the West, important distinction, yeah, in the West. I have no idea what the landscape is gonna be like in fucking Japan, dude. I have no idea. I can only speak for what I've seen in the West, and I feel like the market will shift. Miku was extremely big back in the day, but right now it's not as big as before. I think it's the opposite. I think Miku was not as big before. She felt bigger before because you had less things to be exposed to. But now there's such a greater percentage of the entire world's population on the internet. You don't see as much Miku, but she is absolutely everywhere now. She has entire conventions and concerts dedicated to her yearly, all across the world, not just in Japan. Yeah, Miku was at fucking Coachella. Miku invented Coachella, yeah. Project Sekai is extremely big right now, yeah. Coachella. Well, I don't know how to fucking say it, dude! I don't stream on Twitch anymore. I don't like Twitch. I don't have a good time when I stream on it. I just feel nervous and uncomfortable and like I'm under a microscope. I don't like it. Eggshells, yeah. I don't like feeling like I'm walking on eggshells. And I feel like lately, the past year, I've been walking on eggshells more and more and more. It's like I'm walking deeper and deeper into a pit of eggshells. And so my options are keep walking into the eggshells or sit where I'm at. And I'd rather honestly just sit where I'm at. I'd rather sit on my slightly shallower pit of eggshells and look out and be like, ah, look at the pit. Look at the ocean. What would you lose if you got banned if you're not streaming anyway? Because if you're banned on Twitch, you're not allowed to appear on other people's live streams. So if any member of FaZe Connect did a live stream over on Twitch, I would not be able to appear on it. Urka and Irie are banned on Twitch? Yeah, I have no idea why. They have done nothing wrong. Urka and Irie have done literally nothing wrong. I know there's a lot of VTubers that go on Twitch and they fucking show their asshole and they're like, why was I banned? I don't understand. I zoomed in on the naughty bits of my model and lingered there and made fun of Twitch's ban policy. I don't understand why I got banned. It doesn't make any sense. I think if Twitch was based, they would they would fire all of the people that are Hassan fans. Exangel, thank you. Have you considered moving to Rumble or BitChute? Yeah, sure. I'll kill my career. Yeah. Let me just ruin everything. I know. Those are all my predictions for VTubing. I don't know if it'll actually. It probably won't actually work out how I predict. Why is there a whale in a pond? How did they do that? How did they put a whale in a pond here? Eldorado, Eduardo, thank you. I hope you have a Merry Chrysler and Happy New York, Pippa. Thank you. It swam, huh? What are your predictions for next year? More dead corpos, more indies? That's what I predict. I'd like to be clear. I do not say this because I want corpos to die. I don't want companies to go under. I love VTuber companies. They create a world of entertainment, like not like a world of entertainment like, oh wow, yeah, go to the Apple store, there's a world of entertainment there. Go to Disneyland, there's a world of entertainment there. But it's like a cinematic universe, in non-derogatory that VTuber companies create, and I love them and I want to watch more of them, and I hope FaZe Connect lasts forever. However, I don't think FaZe Connect will die next year or anything, but I do think a lot of other companies, like small companies, small companies, are probably gonna go under. More big company VTubers will become indie. And I think we'll start seeing the move towards higher quality, refined content over regular streams. I think people are getting burnt out on regular VTuber content. There's just too much regular VTuber content. Even if people aren't getting burnt out on it, people are going to want to start seeing stuff that's different. Rebellion, thank you. The whale is in the pond because this map is Earth as designed by Hideo Kojima. Oh, okay. Exangel, thank you. I predict that there'll be more indie adoption agencies like VShojo. They're like the best of both worlds. I don't think there will be more companies like VShojo. I could be completely wrong. God, this shit's loud. However, I personally believe stuff like VShojo is just way too difficult for people to pull off. It's probably more talent agencies like Mythic. I agree with that, General Cow. I think if we see anything like that pop up next year, it'll be more talent agencies like that. Like, you are your own independent streamer, we'll help you get like sponsorships and maybe handle like some legal stuff for you. Go do your own stuff, go be crazy, you know? VShojo is a bit more of like a proper VTuber company. Like Mihail Kale, thank you. It's a shame most VTuber companies are run by people with less business sense than a high school dropout. What do you mean by that? Thank you. I agree, idle stuff really doesn't get the mileage, and if VTubing needs to continue to grow, it needs to reach outside of idle content. I think outside of like what VTubing does or doesn't need to do, I think there's a certain inevitability of VTubing as a medium rather than as a culture, you know? At the end of the day, VTubing outside of its culture is a very powerful tool, and I think other people are eventually going to use the tool to create more mainstream of content rather than it being like, oh, like VTubers as a community have decided like we need to move towards growing more and more and more. It's, yeah. Spider, thank you. Fuck you, normies, get out. Panko Manko 2024. I feel change in the waters of VTubing. In the great sea of VTubing, the tide is shifting, and it makes me uncomfortable. But I also feel like it kind of needed to change because it sucked for a little bit there in general, in my opinion. I'm gonna be blunt. I don't think this last year as a VTuber fan has been very fun for me. I don't know if it's because of myself being a VTuber and I'm struggling perhaps to separate myself from the greater sphere at large, but I don't know. The industry is at a huge turning point right now, but I think it's a good thing in the long run. I think it is as well. If things were never going to stay how they were, then it might as well change from how it is now. You know what I mean? Things already changed from how I liked them. And so this past year was not great for me as a VTuber fan. And as a VTuber myself, I feel like it was just kind of, it's not my favorite year. I liked last year. Last year as in like year 2, not like this past year. How do I word this? Words are hard. It was a great year if you think of it long term. Burnout is real? I don't think I'm burnt out. You like 2023, not 2024? Yeah, I liked 2023, not 2024. In terms of being a VTuber fan. And in terms of being a VTuber, I didn't like hate it. I'm not like, oh man, fuck 2024. I want to like quit or whatever. It's just like 2024 was like, this is like, I don't know. 2024 is pain and it's not over yet. 2024, I feel like, being candid, I feel like it's been a year of growing pains, you know? I feel like 2023, you know, like my channel really took off and we did a lot of really fun things and it was a great year. It was a great year. And then 2024 was having to deal with the consequences of growing, of Face Connect as a whole getting bigger. I feel like my life got better in 2024, but as a streamer, you know, like in terms of streaming, it was a weak point. And as a VTuber fan, I felt kind of empty. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the highlight of 2024 was just getting to buy a bunch of VTuber merch in Japan. And there was definitely like some cool VTuber. There was a lot of cool VTuber stuff this past year. But I don't know, being candid, I feel like a lot of the corpo VTubers becoming indie has just made me kind of not bitter at them, but bitter at the sphere as a whole and a lot more cynical, a lot more on guard. Whereas before, you know, like stuff would happen and it'd be like, oh, well, you know, shit happens. But then 2024 made me look a lot more critically at why stuff happens. And it made me consider that it will likely continue to happen. The corpo model is rusting. More cynical, there's less of that like, oh wow, everything is great and everything will continue to be great. And I don't think I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong. But I feel like this year I wasn't really excited for any new debuts. I wasn't excited for any new anything. There was just, I don't know. Thank you. The smile and optimism gone. Alright, thank you. 2024 has been FaZe's most creative year, for sure. So many good projects and streams and songs. We definitely ate good as fans. FaZe love. I'm glad. My experience as a fan is detached from FaZe Connect because I'm not going to be a fan of the company that I'm part of. I'll cheer on other members of FaZe Connect, but I struggle to be a fan of things that I'm like too close to. Can you say that on stream? I don't see why not. I'm not saying I hate FaZe Connect or whatever. On the contrary, I love FaZe Connect. But I could not... Yeah, you don't watch your own VODs. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not gonna like watch my own content and be like, wow, that's incredible. And I'm not gonna like look at the stuff that my coworkers create that I personally know and be like, oh, I am now like a major fan of you and I'm gonna like buy your merch and stuff. It just... there's no magic there. I know them personally, you know? I think so many of them create really great content and most of them are fantastic people, but it's like, these are my coworkers. Sierra, thank you. As a Pippa and FaZe fan, we've had a more interesting and varied content than ever this past year. As usual, you're a terrible judge of your own content. Good work, Rabbit. Oh, thank you. Why be an audience member when you're friends with the band? More like, why be an audience member when you're part of the band? Would recommend a therapist if you're feeling a general apathy for your passions. I'm not feeling an apathy for my passions. It's just my passions I was in so deep, and now I feel like those things are changing so much. It's like, well, I guess I'll get into other stuff. So now I'm getting more into other stuff, like like reptiles and camping and outdoor stuff in general. I've taken to birding. I like walking my dog and riding my bike.
Everybody, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Low Effort Clips. That's right, Low Effort Clips, right here on YouTube.com. Yeah, and hit the notification bell. Yeah.